For anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
So that is New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani bashing the New York City Police Department 2 years ago. That comments like that are what prompted this apology that he gave when I interviewed him here on The Story a little over a week ago.
I'll apologize to police officers right here because this is the apology that I've been sharing with many rank and file officers. And I apologize because of the fact that I'm looking to work with these officers, and I know that these officers, these men and women who serve in the NYPD, they put their lives on the line every single day.
So he's clearly changed what he's saying about the New York City Police Department. The campaign did not release any official response to that soundbite that we just played. Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joins me now. Governor, good to have you with us. I'm curious what goes through your mind as you listen to that then and now. And I just would point out it's not that long ago. The first soundbite is just from 2023.
No, exactly. I mean, we'll see what happens in the election, but if he is elected, I think it'll be an example of the voters of New York City committing an act of ballistic podiatry, because it is going to come back and bite the city. He is so far left, and he mixes his leftism with Islamism. He's going to make the de Blasio years look like the golden age. And I can tell you in Florida, we're affected by this just with the law enforcement alone. If you're working at NYPD, do you want to go out there and risk your life knowing that the mayor hates you? No, a lot of them are not going to want to do that. And in Florida, we've established a $5,000 recruitment bonus. So if you are somebody that doesn't want to serve under that guy as mayor, you come to Florida, any state or local law enforcement agency, you get $5,000 right at the top.
A very interesting offer. You know, when asked about that, about migration out of the city if he wins, the candidate says it's not going to happen, you know, especially at the upper end of the wealth scale. People say they'll leave, but they don't actually do it. And if they're taxed a couple percentage points more, it's not going to make a big difference to them. They're rich anyway.
Well, I think the taxes sometimes can be overstated, because when people are very wealthy, they may not be as sensitive as people that are middle income, although I do think it's a factor. But I will tell you, if you say you're going to disband the NYPD, if you put the criminals back on the street, if you engage in far left policies that would make George Soros blush, people do respond to that. And of all the people that have migrated to Florida since I've been governor, I would say the number one reason they've left places like New York City under de Blasio, like they've left Chicago under this mayor and the previous mayor, like leaving San Francisco and Los Angeles, is public safety. Those leftist politicians turn their backs on the police, turn their backs on the rule of law, and then the citizens were the ones that paid the price. And I will tell you, the disproportionate impact on those far left policies that do help the criminal element is actually not even the wealthy people, though they're affected to a certain extent. It's the working class people. It's the middle class. Those are the folks that get affected the most. So I do think that he will spark migration out of the city, particularly if he follows through on his far left anti-law enforcement policies.
Well, so far he's said he wants to keep the police commissioner, Tish. There's a lot of speculation as to how long she would stay in that job, but we'll see what happens. Governor DeSantis, always good to get your thoughts on it. There are clearly national implications and implications for Florida, as you point out as well. Thank you very much, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.